There's a storm coming. Not literally, but who knows? Could be a disaster, economic turmoil, or even zombies. Point is, it's better to be prepared. Prepping doesn't have to cost a lot. I'll show you affordable prepper items. Essential gear without breaking the bank. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with a tool that's as essential today as it was for our ancestors. A good old axe or hatchet. A compact, lightweight model will do the trick. Need to process firewood? Axe. Clearing a path? Axe. A quality axe is versatile. Look for one with a comfortable grip and a durable head. A sharp axe is a safe axe. Invest in a good sharpening stone. Affordable options are available. Just ensure it's well made and feels good in your hand. A good axe is an investment in your preparedness. Next up, we're talking about an item so simple yet so versatile, you'll wonder how you ever prepped without it. A good old bucket. A sturdy 5-gallon bucket with a tight-fitting lid. You might be thinking, a bucket? Seriously? But hold on, let me tell you why this is a prepping essential. Water storage. In an emergency, clean water is going to be worth its weight in gold. A bucket provides a reliable way to store and transport water. Sanitation is another crucial aspect of prepping, and your trusty bucket can easily be converted into a makeshift toilet. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Need to haul supplies? Bucket. Need to put out a small fire? Bucket of water. Need to collect rainwater? You guessed it, bucket. The possibilities are practically endless. And the best part? Buckets are dirt cheap. You can usually find them for a few bucks at your local hardware store. Alright folks, let's talk about a tool that's as essential as it is affordable. The shovel. Now you might be thinking, a shovel? That's for gardening, right? Well, think again. In a grid-down scenario, a good shovel can be a lifesaver. Imagine having to bug out in a hurry. You're on foot, heading for your bug-out location, and you need to create a hasty shelter. A shovel lets you dig a fire pit, trench for drainage, or even a shallow shelter pit. It's all about adapting to the situation. And don't forget about self-defense. A sturdy shovel can be a formidable deterrent if you find yourself in a tight spot. Plus, when things are back to normal, you can always use it for its intended purpose. Planting your victory garden. In today's tech-dependent world, we often rely on our phones for navigation. But what happens when the grid goes down, the batteries die, and your GPS is nothing more than a useless brick? That's where a good old-fashioned compass comes in handy. A compass is a simple yet invaluable tool that relies on the Earth's magnetic field to point you in the right direction. It doesn't need batteries, it doesn't need a signal, and it won't let you down when you need it most. Remember, self-reliance is key in any survival situation. Learning how to use a compass effectively is crucial. Take the time to familiarize yourself with the basics of navigation, such as reading bearings and orienting yourself to landmarks. Trust me, it's a skill that could save your life. There are many different types of compasses available, from basic baseplate compasses to more advanced lensatic compasses. Choose one that suits your budget and skill level, and make sure to practice using it before you need it in a real-life situation. Let's talk about keeping your energy levels up when disaster strikes. Emergency food bars provide essential calories and nutrients. They might not be gourmet, but they're vital. Compact, lightweight, and long-lasting. Check expiration dates and rotate stock. A well-fed prepper is a prepared prepper. When the sun goes down, you don't want to be caught off guard. That's why a reliable lantern is high on our list of essential preps. A good lantern can be a real morale booster when you're hunkered down in the dark. Remember those old oil lanterns? Those are great too. But you gotta be careful with the open flame and the fuel. Me, I like to keep things simple and safe, especially when things get unpredictable. So don't wait for the power to go out before you realize you're stumbling around in the dark. A decent lantern is worth its weight in gold when you need to see what you're doing. Whether you prefer the charm of an old-style manual lantern or the convenience of a modern battery-operated one, having a reliable light source is crucial. Let me tell you something, folks. Fire. It's not just about staying warm, it's about survival. And a reliable fire starter? That's your ticket to boiling water, cooking food, and signaling for help when the grid's down. Now you got your fancy magnesium fire starters, your trusty ferro rods, even good old waterproof matches will do the trick. Practice makes perfect when it comes to fire starting. You don't want to be caught fumbling around in a real emergency. So gather some tinder, find some dry wood, and get comfortable with your fire starter of choice. Remember, fire's a tool, and like any tool, you gotta respect it. So be mindful of your surroundings, clear the area, and always have a way to extinguish it safely. You know, they say there are two things you can always count on: death and taxes. Well, I'd add tape to that list. This stuff is a prepper's best friend. Seriously, from patching up a ripped tent to making a makeshift splint, tape is the king of multi-purpose tools. I've seen folks use it to seal up windows in a storm, create a makeshift water carrier, even fashion a temporary fix for a busted pipe. You name it, tape can probably handle it. Keep a couple of rolls in your bug-out bag, your car, your workshop, you name it. And don't be shy about using it, because when disaster strikes, a little ingenuity and a roll of tape can go a long way. Number 9 on our list of must-have preps might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many folks skimp on this one. A good, reliable flashlight. And I don't mean that little pen light you got for free at the gas station. We're talking about a real deal tactical flashlight, something with some heft, some lumens, and the ability to blind an attacker if need be. Trust me, when the grid goes down and the night is pitch black, you're gonna want more than a flickering candle to guide your way. Next, a portable stove or cooking set. Sure, you can survive on cold beans and MREs for a while, but eventually you're gonna want a hot meal. That's where a portable stove or cooking set comes in handy. Now, you've got a few options here. You can go with a classic propane camp stove, a multi-fuel option that burns anything from gasoline to twigs, or even a simple rocket stove you can build yourself. The important thing is to have something that's reliable, fuel efficient, and easy to use. After all, you don't want to be fumbling around with a complicated contraption when you're hungry and the pressure's on. Now let's talk about staying connected when the grid goes down. These days we rely on our electronics for everything: communication, navigation, information. But what happens when the power goes out? That's where the next item on our list comes in. A good quality solar charger. Now, I'm not talking about those flimsy little keychain chargers you see advertised online. I'm talking about a real deal, heavy-duty solar panel that can actually charge your devices. Look for a solar charger with a decent wattage output, multiple charging ports, and a rugged, weather-resistant design. You want something that can withstand the elements and keep your gear powered up, no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. Remember, in a grid-down situation, information is power, and a solar charger will help you stay informed, connected, and one step ahead. Alright folks, let's talk about protecting those hands. You depend on them for everything, so you gotta treat them right. That's where a good pair of work gloves comes in. Whether you're chopping wood, fixing a fence, or just moving debris, your hands are gonna take a beating without protection. Splinters, blisters, cuts, you name it, it's gonna slow you down and make life miserable. Good work gloves are an investment, plain and simple. You don't need anything fancy, just something durable with a good grip. Leather's a classic choice, but there are plenty of synthetic options out there too. Just make sure they fit snug and allow for dexterity. Trust me, your hands will thank you. We've all got our stockpiles of canned goods, right? It's prepping 101. But here's a thought. How are you gonna open those cans when the power's out, and your electric can opener's nothing but a paperweight? That's right, folks. We're talking manual can openers. I'm talking about the simple, reliable kind our grandparents used. They don't need batteries, they don't need an outlet, they just work. Keep one in your prep kit, and keep one in your bug-out bag. You never know when you're gonna need to crack open a can of beans or soup. And hey, while you're at it, teach your family how to use the darn thing. It's a basic skill everyone should know. We talk a lot about gear and gadgets, but let's not forget the basics. Staying clean ain't just about looking good, it's about staying healthy, especially when things go sideways. Believe me, in a grid-down situation, the last thing you want is to get laid up with something preventable. A simple bar of soap can keep germs at bay, which is crucial when access to medical care might be limited. And don't even get me started on dental hygiene. A bad tooth can sideline you faster than you can say cavity. Pack a toothbrush and some toothpaste and you'll thank me later. We've covered a lot of ground, folks, talking about essential gear for your preps. But what good is a flashlight without batteries? Or a weather radio that's gone dead? Spare batteries are non-negotiable in your preps. They don't take up much space, but their value in an emergency is immeasurable. You rely on your gear, and your gear relies on a power source. Don't let dead batteries leave you in the dark. Next, water. You've heard it before, but I'll say it again. You can go weeks without food, but only days without water. In a grid-down situation, clean drinking water might be hard to come by. That's why having a good, reliable water bottle is non-negotiable. Look for a bottle that's BPA-free, leak-proof, and maybe even insulated to keep your water cold or hot depending on your needs. And don't forget, folks, one bottle might not cut it. Think about having multiple bottles, maybe even a larger container for storage. Remember, water is life, and in a survival situation, it's your absolute top priority. While plastic water bottles are convenient, they often lack durability and can be harmful to the environment. Consider investing in metal or glass water bottles for a more sustainable and long-lasting option. Now let's talk about your feet. You rely on them to get you from point A to point B, and in a grid-down scenario, you might be doing a lot more walking than usual. That's why having a good pair of work boots is absolutely essential. And I'm not talking about those flimsy fashion boots you see some folks wearing. I'm talking about real-deal, heavy-duty work boots. You want something with good ankle support, steel toe protection, and a durable sole that can handle rough terrain. Remember, blisters and foot injuries can be a real problem in a survival situation, so you need to protect those feet. Look for boots made from high-quality materials like leather or Gore-Tex, and make sure they fit comfortably. Break them in before SHTF because you don't want to be dealing with blisters when you're trying to bug out. Well folks, we've covered a lot of ground in this video. From basic tools to essential supplies, we've gone over some of the most important items you need to weather any storm. And the best part is, you don't need to break the bank to get prepared. Remember, prepping isn't about fear-mongering. It's about taking responsibility for yourself and your loved ones. It's about being self-reliant and prepared for whatever life throws your way. So take action, folks. Start building your own prepper pantry and toolkit, one item at a time. And remember, knowledge is power. Subscribe to this channel for more prepper tips, tricks, and advice. Stay safe out there.